Alrighty ho, let's do this. This is the third installment of my hashtag FIXPUBG series about how I would do it differently. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, the event modes. The event modes are something tricky and something weird. Is it bad? Is it good? Depends on who you're asking. There were some fun event modes. One that particularly pops up in my mind is the Tequila Sunrise, I think it was called. And it was basically shotgun only mode. Now, in the beginning, I kind of didn't like the shotgun only mode. It was kind of, you know, I wouldn't say stupid. I would say, I mean, Miramar and shotguns don't go along that well. Now, I will say, once we started to realize that we could just go take the vehicles and drive around in vehicles with shotguns, we had such a blast. It was incredible. Alright, good. First things first. Platoon 50-50 was announced and it was instantly delayed within 12 hours due to a critical error. I mean, doesn't make you look good, PUBG. That's all I gotta say. So, yeah. What more can I add? War mode. The war mode. It's a yes and a no. Like, add it as a separate event instead of the regular event mode. The reason for it is simply because if you do it, like, it's a good warm up, but people want to try out, you know, for example, the Graza or the M6 M4, and they want to play the war mode with that gun. But if you force them to play random guns with random attachments, like, it doesn't work. You know, give people, for example, everybody gets 3 items they can choose, 2 attachments and 1 gun with bullets, for example. Do that. There we go. Choose loadouts or select one rather than RNG based. I think that's desperately needed. Leave the events for like things that completely change up the formula rather than some action combat. It was good in the beginning, but it serves its purpose. And there is one in particular that I got seriously pissed off from. So, also have challenges exclusive to set war modes, or excuse me, set event modes. I punish myself for it. Have challenges that add towards that progression. That way, it gives an incentive for people to play the event mode and not just, you know, try it out if you want to try it out, but if you want to have challenges as well, you need to try out the event. Don't make it super hard, make it super simple. Just add something to it. Put it like that. Exclusive items if you complete a certain, you know, for example, the Tequila Sunrise, maybe, I don't know, some tequila themed items, a shot glass hat. Or if you drink tequila with a shot glass, I'm not a drinker. Whatever. You know, things like that. You know, maybe a sombrero with like, I'm thinking about some straws, a sombrero with like red little stones necklace. I don't know, figure something out. It's not that hard. It doesn't have to be meaningful. It just has to be basically they serve as a reminder to the actual event that they played. So a memory of some sort towards said event that they played. Now, 2 times shotgun war mode is just, oh boy, this one got me so pissed. War mode is fun for 3 games, I can assure you that. After that, it gets stale, it gets boring, it gets it's just not worth it anymore. So, if you make your most terrible war mode and you do it 2 weeks in a fucking row, nobody is gonna want to play that. What do we have? The shotgun war mode. Okay, first things first. The shotgun war mode in itself. Shotguns are inconsistent as hell, so it's not fun to, you know, get dropped down and basically fight. There were so many lag issues at that moment. I can't remember. It might be personal on me, but the desync was there. The lags were there, especially with shotguns, because they're like, you shoot and poof, somebody's dead. Other guns have that less. So the desync is even more visible with like that and consistent with shotguns. So you got that fact that nobody uses shotguns in games. It's only fun to basically shoot shotguns for once versus shotguns for one. It's I think I played all of the events. That one, the least favorite. I think most people hated it, and you do it 2 weeks in a row. I mean, how? That's being out of touch with your community, and I don't want that. Again, not with random. Yeah, a little bit different, I think. Kind of the same thing. These two could be the same point. Oh well, too late. Lack of attachments or being forced to use an holographic, which I always try to avoid, doesn't make it better. Since theoretically speaking, if you have, for example, the AUG, you will most likely have it from an airdrop, and usually you have attachments to go with it. So if you want to aim or train your AUG from the airdrop in the war mode, it doesn't work basically. You know, if you take it in game, you most likely have attachment. So basically, I want more cool stuff like the Tequila Sunrise is the one that springs out by example, of course. Is it the best one? It was definitely fun, and I think I had my best, one of the most fun games that I ever had in that. So if you want to check it out, I hope I'm not forgetting it. I think it's up there. It's called Judgment Day. Okay, next segment. Esports and ranking. PUBG desperately wants to make it in esports. They've said multiple times they had a 5-year plan. I think it's the biggest misconception about your own game that you can have, and I'll explain why. Battle Royales are RNG based. They're unfair, and it's hard to watch hundreds of people at the same time. Why do I think PUBG or Battle Royales in that genre, Fortnite as well, and Blackout as well, is a bad idea? First of all, the winner is to survive. So, as we've seen in PUBG's case as well, people will just camp the first 20 minutes of the game, most likely. You know, so that's 20 minutes of the game from a 30-minute game that's lost. Second of all, it's unfair. Most sports, almost all sports, have one set goal. That will always be fair. Even you know, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, etc. There's one team against one team, playing against each other. Maybe a best of 3 to see which is clearly the winners, because you don't always win the game because of luck or whatever. But you know, best of 3, usually the better team always would win. Why is that? It's 1v1. It's very simple. Maybe I should make a dedicated video separate from this, because this one is getting super long. But simply put, it's Battle Royales are unfair, and that's why we enjoy them. Why do we enjoy them so much? Because it's the stories we do. I can now, after 1,500 hours of playing PUBG, log in with my squad, and we can have a different game again. We can maybe do something crazy, maybe something we never done before. Maybe something happens that we never seen before. Stuff like that. It's basically us against the world. Us against hundreds of other players. And it's that winning, where you defy the world and defy everything that's thrown at you, that makes you feel so damn good. And it's that feeling that will always stick with people and will always resonate with a lot of people. Battle Royale. So that's why I think, in short, basically, that PUBG esports, bad idea. I would focus on gameplay and the individual aspect rather than the competitive scene. But hey, I'm gonna try to be a little bit reasonable and of course not be a dick about it. So, you know, I want to give it a shot. Let's put it that way, and I will try my best to make a fair shot. So here I go in a little bit in depth in this paragraph about why I think it's unfair and why it's not really the way to go. You know, you could say, oh well, triathlons, marathons, and like a race with hundreds of people is the same. Like, yeah, no, because you're always competing against a set time. That's the only thing you're competing against. And yeah, you could say, well, oh, this guy made me trip during the marathon itself. Yeah, that's possible. But that's not the rules. So my point being is, it takes, for example, the Olympic sport whereby the fastest 100 meters. There's 10 people, but you just have to be the fastest. That's all. You don't have to worry about the blue zone. You don't have to worry about the other guys shooting you or messing you up or some shit like that. But yeah, PUBG esports seems more like a fun thing to do with your whole every friend rather than a dedicated leagues and stuff. But I'm not gonna argue about that, and I will try to do my best. So here's some more why I think it is. The streamer stuff, however, I find a lovely idea. Like the podcast royale, I think it was, where every streamer or all the content creators battle it out in a few games. That's a great concept, and that's way better as an esports than having teams of 4. Because if you have, like, for example, PGI and me, who do I root for? I don't know any of these. I know some of them. I think I rooted a lot for Welcome to South Georgia Bowl, I think they were called. Simply because South Georgia Bowl is my city! I love that city, man. I love that. Best place ever. Best place on the whole of PUBG. So, I was rooting for them, but that was basically the only reason. The Asian market, I didn't know at all. You have, of course, Team Liquid and the Cloud9, I guess, the classics, but I have no affiliation to them. Basically, like, who do you root for? Well, on the other, that's the problem. It's one of the problems with PUBG as an esports. There's so many teams, there's so many action going at once. It's too much for one human to handle. But of course, in the broadcast royale, you can have your favorite streamer. Let's say every guy is of every person has one subscription to one streamer. They can root for that one. A lot of people probably is gonna be shout, or Dr. Disrespect. I don't know who were or Choco Taco, I think it's called. Those are like the fan favorites of PUBG, which is they will get probably the most attention. But it's also good for the smaller guys who want to compete and have their fans. It's a great way to root for your favorite streamer. That's what I'm trying to say. That way, if you do it like that, you have people that you're already familiar with battling it out against people that you might not stand. One can say Dr. Disrespect is a toxic character. It's in the name, so I'm not mad. But some people don't like him because of that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, Shroud can kill him now," or something like that. Because Shroud won on the last one, I think. But that way, streamers get a chance to be in a competition. The first is ready, although they're not dedicated to playing the game much. At least there's some form of easy rooting for. Oh yeah. My apologies. So as this is point 1, basically. Who is the best one? Can't really add more than that. We always want to root for the people we're familiar with. But yeah, if you're not familiar with anybody, like, how do you watch? You can always say, yeah, I just like professional PUBG. How do the pros do it? And there was, because after PGI, I noticed that because then I was still playing the game quite intensively, I noticed a lot of players use a lot more smokes, a lot more vehicles and stuff, and people didn't die as fast. So it's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. Just, there's 100 people. I don't know any of them. Dedicated ranked ladders for each region. Having local leagues, to put it like that. Ranking has to be on the front. Every time you get out of the game, you need to see rank. Every time you're in the menu, you need to see your rank. Your rank. Every player has to see their rank at all times to make sure, well, not at all times, but to make sure that it sticks in their mind that it's important. Because the more things, the more we repeat something, the more important it is. The brain sources it a little bit that way. If a problem arises every day, it's going to be more important to you than a problem that's only once there. Same with opportunities, same with things you loved, same with movies, games, whatever. Everything. The more it's there, the more likely we're caring more on an emotional level, whether that's good or bad. So making sure that the ranking is not somewhere secret that nobody can know when we season reset it is important, really important. Yeah, this is an example. Or like when you win a victory, maybe you see like, how do other games do it, like CSGO? The game's over, the competitive game's over. Fancy animation, and boom, we got it there. Reward players for kills, revives, and place reach. Those are the three main things. You might add in some fancy mechanics like blue zone damage, but that needs to be extensively tested before that goes. But kills, place should always be the number one spot. But kills, let's say if I end up number one with 1 kill and the guy second came in with 10 kills, the guy second with 10 kills, do you let him win or not? Because at the end of the day, a battle royale is about surviving. It's about winning the last 1v1 or surviving the last 1v1, basically like that. So that one is a trick. You can do, for example, double prizes. So a team with the most prizes gets, a trophy for kills, and the team with the best place gets a trophy for place. Revives, I think, is important to encourage team play, and I would also give them XP, so people hopefully think more about revives and don't die as much. But that's more of a hopeful thing, a complete one. More matches means more consistently. So that's the big problem with, I find also with PUBG esports, is even if you do 3 games with 100 people, there's so much chance and so much random elements involved that it's almost impossible to guarantee that the number one guy of those 3 games is the number one. So how do you fix that? Well, I think the NBA playoff season, etc., is NBA season is I played basketball back in the day and was a big fan of it back in the day. So I think something like that would be extremely good. Like have players, or at least the top teams. I don't know how you do it, but having literally played the top 20 games, 100 games in total, to be the number one before they can be the number one is a way more secure way of getting that fair ranking, which is quite hard to do. So, and then of course having some kind of playoff games, that way, having 50 teams, for example, play a whole season every Friday, every Sunday, whatever, gotta do it. And then of course having the playoffs at the end would be a great way to do it. Rank progressive for each game can be just enough. Use the same system Valve using Elo. Maybe I should act. Yeah, okay. I did add it. Adding on top of the above, Wacky Jackie showed in his video that you can basically grind AFK to place. Now, technically, it makes sense, right? Because, I mean, you can just AFK the whole thing and then get to the top, and since place is the most important, you'll still be okay. So maybe add a feature that if somebody doesn't press a button for 3 to 4 5 minutes, that he gets kicked out of the game. That's the way to do it. I mean, it's not the most fail-safe way to do it, but at least you'll be guaranteed some kind of you go against the AFK grinding. Or maybe you can say you need to have at least 1 kill to qualify, or 2 kills or 3 kills to qualify for it. In squads it's different, but those will less likely AFK. Having cool rewards. I think we already did this in part 2. League of Legends has a great way where each season they reward the player with a few skins. Those aren't the best or the cool skins necessarily, but they're at least, skins that players don't have to pay for, and it intensifies each time you win, season you got a good placement, you can still think back on that moment. One of the things they do incredibly well, it's not necessarily the skins, but if you place a certain rank, you will get a border around your character in the loading screen, and that represents your rank from the previous season. And that's an important thing that's tied into status, so how we see ourselves or the people that we play with. If they see you're the diamond of bronzes, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, super cool, super cool." So that's quite important status, and that's also the reason why a lot of skins are pod status. So something like that is important, that everybody else can see what you achieved. Okay. This is one moment in PUBG's history that I had completely no clue how the fuck that could be. Basically, it was a streamer tournament, and Shroud, in case, Shroud's team, I don't know who was in it, but they had 3 chicken dinners, so 3 times number 1 spot out of 5 games, and they had 70 kills, which was double of what the second most kills was. So this is quite hard to find back. Maybe somebody else can do it. Like, whoa, dude. Why? How? Whoa, what? Like, how the fuck does the Shroud get second for winning more than half of the games and getting more than double the kills of the second guy? Stuff like this is what makes PUBG esports ready, quote unquote. Whatever. Either way, if this has to be fixed ASAP and never happen again. This might be fixed already, but there must be some kind of system in place that this never, ever happens again. A proper training mode is quite important. With other words, no random asshole shooting all the tires of the map, so you can practice your vehicle driving in quiet, etc., etc. Training modes, I wanted it for months and basically almost a year, I think. And once it's finally here, I didn't even give a shit about it, simply because why? Well, I had to share my training grounds with 24 random people, not my friends. 24 random people. They said, yeah, you need to join the squad. Yeah, whatever. Basically, the technology isn't there yet, I'm assuming. Community. Everybody who plays PUBG. Developers need to talk more. Like, there's no, it seems like they're like, oh, we have this precious idea that we have this gold mine that we don't want to, the world to steal. Guess what? They already did, and they improved upon what you might have had. So that's why I'm no sympathy towards this sort of mentality, this sort of thinking. Fortnite clearly stole the idea, the concept, everything from PUBG in the beginning. I'll more than happily admit that. But if I now play Fortnite instead of this, it's a completely different game. Fortnite improved so much upon it, and you can say some of their controversial changes that they've made, but all in all, they listen, they talk to the community. And Epic Games doesn't always do it with their other IPs and stuff. So, but they do it with Fortnite Battle Royale, which is 80 million player base. So basically, I have a feeling PUBG is trying to be secret about something that everybody. You'll never know if you talk unless, but like, there's something on your mind. If something goes wrong, if the like, people will be mad if nothing gets fixed. But if you say, yeah, fellas, sorry to put it, but nothing is getting fixed for now in 2 weeks because our building was completely burned down. You think, except for the fucking few assholes that are on the internet being all high and mighty that they have a keyboard and that's their weapon of choice. Think, except for those fuckers, that anybody is gonna be hateful towards you for basically rebuilding your building before you fix the game. No, nobody. But yeah, if if we don't hear any word, if we don't know what's going on, then we will assume certain things, and those certain things will probably not be in your favor. Important. You only have one purple cow. This is a more a. I have a feeling that PUBG players are deeply passionate about the. Like, if I watch it myself and my friends, the game was incredible. We even still to this day we loved what it did for us. Basically, it's truly unique. It may it's truly unique. We don't have a lot of other places we can find set experience. We can play Fortnite, we can play Battlegrounds, but not the same. PUBG, the adrenaline rush you get after 10 kills in top 5, it's insane. It's original. It's a purple cow. Purple cow is a concept by Seth Godin, basically, that you have such a unique product that nobody else can steal it. That's the gist of it. But, if you hide it in a barn where nobody can find it, that's the point I'm trying to make. There's nothing wrong about being transparent about thoughts and ideas and stick points. We had a roadmap. Yeah, that's it. We had a roadmap with 10 points about what the future of PUBG holds. That was it. Okay, simply don't hire 2 dudes to do all your PR. It seems like PUBG has a systematic and foundational problem with the public relations department. The communication between the players and the game makers. I don't know why that is, what's going on inside, no clue, but it seems like they're like, oh yeah, you're hired, fix this. A guy who just, does his best and tries to make it work instead of being a hardcore PR and knowing every little thing about every, how to handle sticky situations basically. And then you got, I know there was Reckless or something, I think it was, a pretty good guy, League of Legends dude who knew how to do PR a little bit, and then of course he left. So now we think the community only has Hawkins. I don't know, man. Basically, I don't see a lot of PR persons except for Hawkins appear anymore. So don't let him shovel all your shit. That's basically the point I'm trying to make. And a way to give your opponent some honor. This is an important subject that I feel no other games do well. League of Legends is famously notorious for doing this badly, in my opinion. It's toxic as can be. I mean, the lobby in PUBG isn't always moonshine and flowers and everything all good and well, but yeah, in LoL League of Legends was so fucking bad. People, wishing death upon one another. It's just acting immature, shouting, threatening, diseases. I curse a lot, but I avoid. I don't want to curse about controversial stuff such as diseases, race, whatever. I just say a lot of fuck, a lot of shit, and a lot of I don't know. Is it nice of me? No, but compared to what the League of Legends community say, you'll think I'm an angel. But one of the reasons was because everybody was reporting each other after the game. Nobody was giving each other good feedback. And sometimes people were so fed up with being insulted the whole time that they insulted back, of course, and then they got banned. So it's just a messy situation because everybody was focused on what went wrong and not what went right. So yeah, how do we fix this? Well, quite simply, focus more on building good relationships. Sometimes I think, whoa, what the fuck, this guy's hacking when I'm playing PUBG, and then I look at the dead cam and I'm like, damn, guy outplayed me so hard. I don't want to know about it. Well, I did know about it, but I mean, if I could say to the guy, well played, or good job, man, or give him some kind of honor system that if hundreds of people say, damn, you outplayed him, or damn, you're a good shot caller, even in the random squads, promoting good behavior basically by giving exclusive skins and people that make jokes, are mature, etc., etc. There will always be that dickhead that's like, oh man, you said something offensive, I'm gonna make sure you're banned for the rest of your life. But that's an anomaly. If most players they're somewhat nice, they will get more than 90% of upvotes. Bit like that, compliments, honor, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. No, it just needs to be a incentive for good behavior rather than a punishment for bad behavior. That's the important part. Share some more development updates. Behind the scenes at the moment, PUBG FIXPUBG hashtag FIXPUBG campaign is completely over. I have no clue what it is about, what is gonna happen, if everything's happening. Nothing. No one. I don't know what. I don't know. We know there's a snow map coming. Other than that, nothing. You know, having people look forward to, teasing, trailers, building hype is a great way to get your community invested. Fortnite does it incredibly well with their meteor that became a alien visitor that dropped, and it became a cube with it, and then the cube exploded and everybody was teleporting some kind of weird ass thing. Point being, they get like consistent mystery. They share developing things about what's gonna happen, what's coming in the next patch. Do more like that. Not that hard. Simple stuff. But it goes a long way if you just do it. Let's say we got 3 more weapons planned. One is in fully. You don't have to say this, and what it's that secrecy again. You don't have to tell everything, but just give people something. Food for thought. I don't know what the expression is on better expressions, but just give people something to look for. Celebrate creators more. The PUBG partner program is a great thing to promote creators. I have a feeling some creators are a little bit downplayed. And I have a feeling that, giving creators some sort of spotlight once in a while. What does this guy mean for us? What does this guy mean for the PUBG community? Or he makes like cool comics or makes like cool artwork. It doesn't all have to be gameplay or the best, shots or whatever. It can be, fan fiction, best fan art, all these things. For example, let's say we have a cosplayer who does like a lot of PUBG cosplaying. Have like the main menu, we have it so that person, Instagram's account is linked, but you can see that cosplay. Stuff like that goes a long way. Yeah, just celebrating creators and rewarding them for promoting your game, because you can say and do whatever you want PUBG, but you all know that this game is built thanks to creators. Question clips going viral, people streaming, people's account blowing up because they were streaming day in day out your game. So yeah, this point it may seem like I'm pressuring it a little bit, and in all honesty, if we completely forget about this, no biggie. I just think this is a good idea to promote, because the better you treat your creators, the better they will treat your game, and the better they will treat your game, the more content they will have, the more views they will have, the more people. You get a lot, creators get a lot, viewers get a lot from their creators. So it's 3 parties win. Best situation you can have. Alrighty ho, let's get this show back on the road. So, what do we have? Yeah, then it's something I noticed. Isn't a big deal, not really. But basically, when the barrel came out, they showcased the recoil pattern in their promotional video, which was basically a quick show of what the barrel includes, whatever kind of gun it is. And what I noticed was that they had a awfully similar pattern, basically awfully similar style to Wacky Jackies. And I was thinking then, like, why do it like that? Just show the man some love and ask him to do it, pay him or whatever. It's a good way to celebrate Wacky Jacky, and at the same time get your content and what you need. Um, I'm referring to Wacky quite an awful lot. Well, he deserves it. In case of PUBG, really does great, wonderful things. Same thing. Like, I've only heard him swear once, and it was because of your fucking timelines that are complete bullshit. So other than that, I think that guy's your best asset from the company standpoint. Is it a big deal? No, I mean, it's just an idea Wacky Jackie had, and of course that PUBG Corp decided to take over. But why rip off? If you can work together, that's basically. So having a tab in the in-game menu, our next point, is also something I would like to do. Now, what do I mean with this? Basically, as I said with the cosplayer and the Instagram before, a way for PUBG players to get in contact with new content creators. Whether that's showcasing what a certain content creator did, specifically for PUBG, or something that could help players, such as testing and etc. etc. Stuff like that is incredibly helpful to get the player base contact with content creators, and all in all, it creates a kind of atmosphere of PUBG, 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 PUBG. Keep on PUBGing, basically. And that's what I want to see. So, yeah, I would like to do that. It's not done before, it's not a criticism, it's more of a idea suggestion. And having more fun that celebrates content creators, I think it's extremely important. So for this, I'll give you an example. If you want an example where I think that's some great cinematography, which is a mouthful. Basically, that means making a good movie. I highly recommend you check out Cap'n_PUBG. Makes his funny skits, of course. There's some swearing in it, but I'm assuming if you made it this far through, that I didn't scare you off with the swearing already. Oh, but so it's a wonderful, like, it's a wonderful movie made. It's a short film, basically, I would call it. 5 minutes. It's styled Are We Friends Now? I think it's from a game he had, so it's game moments, but then of course used in the replay. It's insane, man. It's so well created. So by this, go show him some love. There's a link in the document. I'll make sure to try to link in the description as well, or info card, or wherever. But really, I want this guy to get some love, and that's PUBG the way you could do it. There's no intensive, for me to share stuff. I really like his work, and I want to share it with other people. I want to have that wonderful feeling that I had while watching it, so that other people can have. So in that way, creating and celebrating content creators, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in-game footage or like people having gameplay moments. I really want to avoid that anybody listening for your own game or PUBG itself, that you actually take less gameplay moments and more moments of fan art, people creating photographs, cinematic movies, creating their own drawings or paintings, or basically creating things outside of the game and promoting their stuff and work, because they might do it as a hobby now, and that exposure might allow them to give you have cool shit to share, and they have exposure. So it's best of both worlds, to put it like that. It's just a great way to do it, and I kind of wish that's more than simply Shrouds try to sell skins with Shroud's name on it, so you make a little bit more money. So yeah. The title of the movie is called PUBG Are We Friends Now, and it's by Cap'n So, but also future guides or videos, strategy guides. PUBG is an incredibly complicated game with lots of mechanics that one has to keep in mind. So, Wacky Jack is of course the creator that comes to mind when it's about guides and videos and etc. So, having a future page for him to share his work with how sound work or testing let's take for example his Mythbusters series. Perfect to share around in the menu somewhere. Maybe you have a menu of creator or a little training course. EA did it with Battlefield 1 and I think was great, whereby they hired guys like Jack Frags to make like little videos for them. Simple things, basics. Those guys get paid, they get exposures. EA has videos. It's basically the best of both worlds. It's working together. That's what I love. It doesn't always have to be purely financial transactions. So, sharing content is basically what these last 3 points are all about. So I highly recommend that something like this gets in place. Oh boy, management. Ooh. This one is more likely concerned to how PUBG Corp is run and is most likely, I wouldn't say the most frustrating thing. I think I have dedicated myself to the two most frustrating things already, but one might have to be a little bit careful about what I do here. But if you are another game developer from another country, hopefully you will learn a thing or two from me. So, first disclaimer, I have no idea how PUBG works in the inside. I don't developer, I haven't spoken. Basically, I have no clues. This is purely based on what PUBG Corp puts out there. What I can deduct from what they produce. Yeah. PUBG's biggest management problem is to me that there isn't put much research / thought in a lot of things. What do I mean with this? Seems like PUBG just pushes stuff out there, doesn't double check, doesn't do research, just assumes things are gonna be the way they're gonna be, stuff like that. So basically, that somebody at PUBG Corp who makes all the decisions is like thinking of themselves the next Steve Jobs, that they're building the most revolutionary thing, and all they're doing is literally burning their profits on their stupid ideas. So let's ignore that for a second. So I see this from a consumer standpoint. I don't care how it's run, what the management is, how they fix it. I see the end product, because you can say, oh yeah, but we have to work hard for it. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit that you have to work hard. Nobody gives a shit what goes on in the inside. As long as it's ethical, as long as, no bullshit about, people treating each other like big dicks and stuff. As long as that is okay. Nobody cares that they have to work hard. Nobody cares that they can't fix it. Only we care what we see. What we actually get, the product in question. So, first thing first, I have the feeling there's no accountability in place in PUBG Corp's whole operation. That decisions can be made, no consequences, nobody cares about them. We make a decision. For example, we changed Blue Zone and we just put it out in live. We have this new patch, we test it out for 1 or 2 days, boom, instantly go to live. No double checking. Is this correct? Is this gonna work? Bugging? Do we have to disable it? I have a feeling that the what do you call it? That sometimes they literally just completely mess it up because they didn't test it out properly. They didn't check it out decently. They didn't fix it the way it should have been fixed. It feels like somebody is just, oh yeah, you're completely responsible for it. Make sure it's okay and make sure it's in the next patch. and that nobody cares about it. Maybe some. Basically, it feels like somebody's writing reports without somebody else checking for errors and mistakes and what else. Quite important for a paid product of this size, then at least. So and also, yeah, the next point I'm trying to make is a recurring theme. Is the fact that there seems to be always going something wrong. You fix something, 2 other things break. The most famous example I can think of was probably the photo, the loading screen with the red bar. Excuse me, with the black bars on the side. So what does that mean? Means that the aspect ratio of the photo in question is not entirely how it's supposed to be. I have a 16:9 monitor and I had black bars on the loading screen. So I'm assuming the photo was made in, or set as a 16:10 aspect ratio. Not entirely sure of this, but basically removing black bars from a photo shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes with a guy who is experienced in Photoshop. I'm a basic Photoshop. I'm maybe a little bit intermediate, definitely not advanced. Like, I can think of a few ways to remove the black bars without any problem, like without little problem. So, the fact that it takes 2 patches, to say it like that, for black bars to get removed from a loading screen bar, the question is, why were they there in the first place? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm trying to think about. Because, things like that, if that happens with smaller things, you can see, Whelsko, you're nitpicking right now. Yeah, it could be. But I have a feeling it's with a lot of things that PUBG decides to, oh, hey. A lot of things, whether it's patch notes, whether it's events, example, the example in question, the 2-time shotgun mode, the 2 event mode. Like, seems like literally nobody even, there's some kind of automatic system and nobody even checked it. That's how it feels sometimes, and I hate to say it like that, but that's event. Well, in the end, that's all about marketing and the way it goes on there, simply because you need some accountability in place to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. And there can always slip something to the CAC, but like I can remember reading in the patch notes that the UMP on the base gun or on the skin, I don't know for sure, that there was, instead of 9mm, it said 45 cal. What? So, things like that took months to replace. And then just, all the things that make up for it. I know I'm just rambling, but like, I know they changed the blue zone real quick, and half of the people loved it, half of the people hated it. And like the day later, they changed it. Or like the fact that they put it on the test server, and 2 months later, 2 days later, it's on live. Not double checking. That's just doing. Next one. Let's put it that way, because I think I spent too much time on this one. The idiots that came up with the timed item, as you can see in all caps, I was pretty mad about it at the time, still am. But literally fire that guy. Like, nobody benefits from it. Nobody has something on it. If you wouldn't say, yeah, but Whelsko, those are trial items in case you want to buy things. Even if most of the trial items you can't even buy because they're so behind an incredibly difficult sales funnel that you literally have to win the lottery in order to get the skin you want from the timed item that you're happy about. So, it's a shitty reward. It leaves a sour taste in the mouth. That's how to put it. Nobody wants it. Nobody likes it. No benefit for the game. No benefit for the business point. There's literally nothing I can come up with at this point. that gives the timed items the exclusive, if I pay for a fucking event pass, I don't want any fucking timed items. Got it? Oof. Fix your own shit instead of suing. We all know the incredible, famous PUBG sues Fortnite, the fiasco. Now, we don't know, I'll be honest, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We don't know exactly what Fortnite sued for, but there was some rumors about copyright infringement and decently. Yes, Fortnite stole it, but yes, that was a shit way to respond. Because, you know what? The event pass, I'm beginning, you got it straight from Fortnite. So, what do you want to do? To Fortnite? Plus, it's an idiotic thing to do either way. I'll tell you why. If you sue the guy that is responsible for your engine, what do you think he's gonna do? Huh? Epic Games is willing to make a 14-year-old's identity known against the law because he sold hacks on his YouTube channel. What do you think they're gonna do? You think they're gonna be, oh yeah, no, it's okay, PUBG, we don't mind. I mean, I'm not gonna speculate what they're gonna do, and I don't wanna, call the shot. They're gonna do this again, that. But like in my mind, if I was the CEO of Epic Games, and I got this little tiny indie company suing me because I quote unquote stole their game, which I did, but yeah, nobody has to know that. But I made it into my own thing, so it's not the worst. I just stole the basic things first, and then I added some building, and then I added some new cool things along the way. So, basically, if I was a CEO of Fortnite, or Epic Games basically, and PUBG comes along and sues Fortnite, a studio that my company, which I'm boss of, owns, what do you think I'm gonna do? Oh, that's cute, PUBG. I'm gonna try to get all my fancy ass lawyers that I pay way too much money, get them all together in a room and say, this is the contract with PUBG. They're gonna sue us. I hate it. I want you to find any small lettering, and I want you to find out what went wrong. What did they do wrong? I want to break the contract with the guys from the law, the lawyers, whatever the fuck you're gonna call, and I want to make sure PUBG broke our agreement. I mean, is it legal? No, fuck no. Would I probably do it if I don't know. But like, shit like that happens. I'm not joking. Shit like that happens in the corporate world. And like, if you're in the United States, you can sue everybody for anything. For no reason. I mean, and what then might possibly happen is that Epic Games is like, oh, yep, you broke the contract. That's against our terms of service, and they can literally pull the license on the fucking engine, which makes the game unplayable. Have fun. That's the worst case scenario, of course, and I don't want to, speculate too much. But like, stuff like that, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because when Epic makes updates to the engine, so Battle Royale is better supported, your game will benefit from it too. Maybe not as soon, and maybe not as fast, but it will benefit. And suing them, it's a dick move. Do they deserve it? Does Epic Game deserve it? Maybe a little bit. But it's not worth the hassle for what they did. So, in that case, I'm extremely, I would be careful to sue the guys that own my engine. Now, it could of course be that, they have a complete license and says you can use our engine for as long as you want the game to operate, and that the contract is fixed by that. But if there's not, and Epic Games can break it, they might as well do it. There are fancy ass lawyers who will do anything to is that and then the question becomes, because some people might be wondering now, is this all legal? The lawyers will make sure it becomes legal. And does that happen? I mean, pretty, you can find a lot of stuff about weird ass cases about people getting sued for nothing. for hundreds of thousands of dollars while they didn't do anything. And executives, the Wall Street fiasco of 2008, whereby basically they gambled with the world's money. It didn't work out, and they got all the way. Or you know what? Take for example, Martin Shkreli dude, basically the guy that raised the Dapramin. I don't know. I'm not home to pharmaceuticals, but basically that one guy that raised the prices of a life-threatening drug for a rare life-threatening disease from like 75 to 200, like insane amount of price jump. Then of course a few months later he went to jail. You really think that he went to jail for jacking up the price and making people's insurance pay for that? No, he went to jail because he fucking lied to investors. That's why he went to jail. So yeah, it's basically focus just on what you can do PUBG instead of suing, because you have a purple cow. Because I can assure you that one thing. I think Fortnite is wrong. I think Fortnite messes. I wouldn't say messes up. They focus on the casual audience, not the skill-based audience. Like Bloom and stuff in Fortnite, it's completely ruined. Like it ruins the game. So other than that, stop suing and just fix it. Make your game the best it can be, because you really have a purple cow. Truly unique product. While Fortnite has it too, it's different market in the same genre. So to Mr. Playerunknown himself, I read an article that he called people xenophobes for hating, demanding region lock and stuff. How many times do these people have to learn that you do not, and no matter what, no matter how much of a dick your customers are, you do not treat them as shit. You do not insult them, and you take their requests seriously, no matter how fucking weird they are. Got it? If you're gonna be, yeah, region lock, well, 80% or more from hackers are from China or Asia. Easily. Why is this? Apparently, this has brought to my attention by, I think, a Chinese student in the United States on Reddit. There is in China is some kind of win no matter what the cost is culture. So this means that people will cheat, lie, and etc. their way out of something if it means they can win it. So there are no fair, basically. This is not a generalization of all Chinese people. No, that happens in the culture, but as an advance, people start hacking and stuff. They even removed a whole hacker syndicate almost in PUBG hacks. Tencent and the Chinese government, they locked away, I don't know what it was, 15 people. The article's pretty far in my mind. But with a little bit of Googling, you can pretty much find it. Like stuff like that makes people, hate it. Now, personally, I don't hate Chinese guys for it. Why would I? I just don't want a hacker in my game. That ruin, I don't want to end up in the top 5 and then all of a sudden get plopped in the head by through the wall and through I don't know what. So calling them xenophobe for asking a region lock on China is fucking disgusting. It's going all Ryan Johnson on your fans, and that guy literally ruined Star Wars. So he made a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It just ruined Star Wars while making it. If basically they should have never made The Last Jedi called The Last, Star Wars. Should have been a different franchise. If that was the case, nobody would hate the movie. Everybody would love it. Well, except for the casino scene. Still fucking dumb. But don't let me get started on this. But, okay, maybe maybe I'm an idiot for saying xenophobe thing. Yeah, xenophobe for asking a region log from China, so I don't have a hacker every fucking 2 games. Maybe, maybe I'm just uneducated, as Patrick Soderland from EA, the favorite company in the world, likes to say, eh? Because apparently having a British female soldier with a protesting pirate hook next to my ear screaming the whole time, bloody well, good shot, mate! While I play as a Asian sniper in World War II Norway, makes me, kind of breaks my immersion. So maybe I'm uneducated. I never picked up a history book, so I don't know what the British soldiers were in that time. I didn't know what they looked like. I didn't know how they saw it. I'm dumb, so I don't know. But that's basically a little Easter egg towards that. That also riles me up. Damn. Don't get me wrong, fellas. Might seem that, that I'm an extremely hateful person towards the dark side. I hate everything that's darkness. When I move to the light, I'm stuck in here. I'm in a prison. My own creation. Not that, it's just, stuff like this makes me pissed off, I guess. It's avoidable. Don't assume anything about your customers and take the request seriously. And you avoid ruining Star Wars and you will avoid ruining Battlefield. Easy as that. Because I can tell you one thing, nobody gives a shit about the new Battlefield 5 anymore. Nobody. Because of stuff like uneducated. Oh boy. Okay, the guy who is the Harvard MBA who never went outside of campus with his monetization scheme. Yeah. Jesus Christ, maybe wish you were better. Stop treating your customers like shit seems to be an obvious one. I think PUBG, as with a lot of companies nowadays, seem to have customers for granted. Stuff like that happens. Sometimes you might, lose touch. But, sometimes I have a feeling that if you put out that many skins and these things still not fixed, then, it's, then again, most people don't understand, but then again, they don't understand the separation between the art and the programming department. If it seems like the art department is doing all the work and the programming department we never heard of, it doesn't feel right. I mean, personally, I also extremely hated what happened during the PGI advertisement. Like, I felt literally, while playing Erangel and stuff, that PGI was forced down my throat, and I had to get it. I was, there's probably footage of me somewhere in one of my older videos where I'm, actively raging on the fact that there are billboards and signs everywhere with PGI. If this is the World Cup soccer, it's understandable, but at that point in time, nobody would know what PGI was. Every other esports scene you did was a complete joke. Esports ready, you know the drill. You need to be careful with pushing that. It's smart if if you do it now, I probably wouldn't rage as much. Still rage because it was way too many. Don't want to see a advertising thing every couple of so meters. Yeah, this one. This again isn't a big deal for me. I'm a rational human being who tries to see everything in the good light. Damn, this makes me thirsty. But yeah. What was the deal? Basically, they were like Codename Savage was coming up as an official release, and they had like these all kinds of behind-the-scene videos. Talking to developers, and in the background you saw people programming. Now, on one of those developers on the background, while another was talking, was what it seems to be playing Overwatch. Yeah, that's right. It seems like he was playing a different game from a different studio while you were recording it. Now, I'm thinking maybe that guy was already done with a shift. I'm thinking maybe it's some sort of team event whereby you all play for Overwatch, whatever. You know, sometimes you need a break from your own game. Do I care? Not really, I don't mind. But if your game is full of desync, bugs, stuff that doesn't matter, crashes, shady monetization schemes, you know, things like the forcible, the map selection that gets forced down the throat. Like, you know, it doesn't show much faith from your customers when they see that. If everything was perfect, and then you would show that would flip through, because I think they even blurred it as such. But if you looked closely, you know, and of course the YouTube comments pointed out as well. They always point out the little stuff if they want to. If it bothers people, and in this case, it will bother people, and it's the same thing as with the art department and programming department. People don't see the difference. They see PUBG Corp, they see PUBG, they see how they experience it. They don't want to see anything more. And that's completely understandable. Not everybody is a nerd like me who spends so much time, so much dedication to fixing something that might not even want to be fixed. You know? I'm a simple dude. But I'm a nerd. You know, not everybody spends this much attention to detail and things about something that, you know, it doesn't even matter. Oh well. Either way, it's just an advice for any game developer. If your game is a little bit broken in early access, do not show it that you're not working on it at all costs. Is this a big deal? No, but every little step goes a long way. PUBG Mobile! PUBG Mobile! This is a fucking hilarious thing. PUBG Mobile has a lot more skins and ideas added to it. So when I check PUBG Mobile and I hear, oh, it's getting a night mode, oh, it's getting night vision, oh, it's getting, let's see, do I still have PUBG Mobile? Like they had like, you know, as previously mentioned, they had like all kinds of cool, you know, skins, firefighters. Maybe I could find a few. PUBG, but you know, it's, don't get me wrong, they have a shitty monetization stuff as well. You know, it's clearly obvious that they're trying to milk their customers. But you know what? At least they do it with a decent skin, decent set, you know, skins. I don't know what the appeal is. I know the corn suit that made us laugh a lot in the Discord, but they, you know, basically they have such cool skins, and PUBG normally doesn't have. They even have like a teddy bear skin, a rabbit skin. They apparently also have basically the exact same way of monetizing, just as the Royale Pass, just like Fortnite does. I mean, why can't PUBG have that? The normal one. You know, it feels like basically PUBG Mobile gets way more attention and way more love than the actual PUBG game itself. And and then I'm hearing already somebody say, "Oh well, Whelsko, but that's two different studios, man." Whoops. And you're right, two different studios completely. You're absolutely right. That's two different studios. But think about it. It's called PUBG Mobile from a different studio, and Tencent has a big share. Tencent is a big ass gaming company in China. They have investments in all the popular games at the moment: LOL, Fortnite, PUBG. So basically, Tencent did their mobile version of the game. They basically also have a share in Bluehole, and Bluehole, of course, owns PUBG Corp. So guess what? Tencent is like, whoa, PUBG is super popular. Well, they have the PC market, but we're in China now, and China has the biggest mobile market in the entire world. So we take our mobile game and put it in China. Genius. PUBG is a great concept. Let's steal that and use it in the mobile world. We just have to pay some licensing fee, and then it's okay. Like, in all honesty, who do you think steals the most? Tencent or fucking Fortnite? They can, I'm not mad. I don't care that they sue fucking Fortnite. But it's just like, you sue Fortnite for it, and Tencent literally is profiting off your ideas. Literally, with the same name. Like, I don't know the exact deal. It might be, yeah, that Tencent gives them 50% of everything they make out of PUBG Mobile. But I doubt it. I think Tencent is smarter than that. Yeah. Next one. These are a little more... Okay, these are my ideas and suggestions. So I always like to end on a positive note. These are things that I would like to add into the game, and things that I would like, happening. I know some of these are unrealistic, and most of these are too crazy to be real. But, it's a little bit fun to add them either way. So, I definitely want to end on a positive note. So, yeah. Harpoons to reel in other vehicles. What would be super cool, for me, and for others probably, it's like when you're chasing two vehicles, let's say one Jeep and another Jeep, that you can like shoot a harpoon or something from one Jeep to another and like, lock them in your sight. It seems like so much fun to do. Basically forcing a fight instead of driving away. Whatever. That's probably a crazy idea and then no one will make it, but would still be cool nonetheless. 249 DP28. So the big ass LMGs that you'll be able to mount them on the Jeep. Let's say you have the Jeep on Miramar, it's the easiest example. Let's say you have a DP on M249 and you have to mount it, so it takes like 5 seconds to put it on the stand. And 5 seconds to off, but if you're driving a little bit, you get an accuracy hit. The harder you drive, the harder the accuracy. So the best thing would be to stand still and spray. This best accuracy. That would make it viable and cool. I read somewhere that they thought it was too OP. I think you can make it work. I think you can really make it work, because if you add an accuracy penalty when you're driving, that means you can still use the mounted gun, but you have to stand still. And that's dangerous. Also, it includes a lot of teamwork, so it might be cool. This one is more realistic. Gliders. Some kind of air travel, stifled... a little bit of air travel basically would be cool. Like a... I'm personally thinking of either, a wingsuit, but the wingsuit's too much. I can remember from Far Cry 4, I think it was, the one in the Himalayas. They had like the gliders and you flew through the air, and so you took a glider and you flew from one place to another, but you didn't have that much mobility. Basically, you were like kind of stuck to like go down slowly. So it might be cool to add something like that when you're, for example, in Stalber, you're flying all the way. Yes, now I have something. Zip lines as well. I don't know if they're here. I'm gonna add them in case they're one. Zip line. Zip line. South Park reference. I'm a big South Park. That's maybe why I curse so much. Zip lines, super cool. On a fixed position, of course. Not that you can shoot your own. That would be ridiculous. But that you can place a zip line from one building to another one. It just adds some cool things. The new winter map's coming, so I kind of like skis, snowboards, and snowmobiles. Tencent, your lovely investor, has a wonderful game called Ring of Elysium that also has it, so maybe you can steal it there. But other than that, it seems super lit that you can like have some kind of snow travel on the winter map. There we go. A community brainstorm or a big talk is something I've been thinking about for a long time, whereby you basically take community. How this exactly plays out, that depends on how you want it to go, but maybe like have a conference call where like all the big content creators are live streaming that conference call, and everybody's like talking about each other, and everybody in the chat can like give suggestions, and then the content creator can give suggestions to somebody of PUBG Corp, and that way you can have like all hundreds of thousands of ideas, literally an hour, which is super cool and super useful. If you basically, it makes sure you don't have any creative issues. The map selection debate is something. Make a clear map selection, everything in separate queue, and you can choose multiple at once. If there's too little players in one queue, you can force, for example, that somebody has to pick at least. Night mode! It was promised, it was teased, it was one picture. Mobile has it, so why not, yo? Do it. Personally, I would like to see some form of gas grenade. So you can, if you know somebody's camping the building in the latest circles, you can gas grenade in there, and burst of them. Something like distant and that does damage over time. Not too much like a Molotov or a grenade, pretty hard kills, but like something that ticks slow. You can. They don't mean to kill, they just mean to get people outside of an area. That would be a great way to deal with campers. Sticky grenades, while we're at it, seems so pretty cool, but I think those are going to be a little bit too much, unfortunately. EMPs to electronic magnetic pulse. Basically, if you throw them, the all electrical devices stop working. Might be cool, like, to mess up somebody's red dot. I don't know if that's powered. 4x, maybe. I don't know if the scopes have electricity. Probably not. Probably not. I'm not a scope expert, guys. I'm sorry. But definitely vehicles that, like, somebody's driving and you throw an AMP and they're like, keep rolling towards a certain direction. Or they're like stuck in the middle. And the vehicle might work back again after 30 seconds. C4 might be a cool opportunity that might also make some rage-inducing moments. But I think it's, it's all about the tactical play, yo. I really think C4 could be an opportunity. It's a little bit more realistic than the harpoons I was thinking about. And I think they teased it even or leaked it something. So yeah. I would like to see a normal bow with less power than the crossbow and more rapid fire. With some, same as the normal crossbow with a fancy red dot on so you can scope quickly. It just seems like some fun gimmick, and it makes arrows a little bit more worth picking up. Might not be the strongest, but definitely some calls. Minus booby traps to catch off unsuspecting players, so flame wars and stuff. Don't, you gotta make it balanced, but I think these could make some pretty cool, interesting plays. And get the strategy level to the next level. Breathing mask underwater. I don't know, seems cool. You know what? No. Because like I remember PUBG Esports where everybody was swimming in the river, 20 guys. No go. Oh, that's clear. Yeah, tanks helicopter seems, super cool. But yeah, mod support. I think free to play and mod support can really bring PUBG back to life. I mean, just look at Bethesda's modders at Nexus Mods. The guys from Skyrim, the guys from Fallout 4, the guys from Fallout New Vegas. The stuff that they create, it's mind-boggling that in their free time they create something like that for other people to play for completely free. It's I say it here, companies are always afraid that it takes profit, but it adds longevity to your game. The amount of people that still play Skyrim to this day because of mods. Amazing. Minecraft. Everybody mods. Mods basically extend the lifespan of your game by 5 years. 5 times easily. So if your game lasts 3 years, single player, Skyrim, let's say, for example. Let's say it was popular from 2011 till 2013, 2014. You know, it's still popular to this day because of mods. Of course, you got special edition. Better. Yeah, you don't want to know with creativity and like give full mod support. Don't make it official service. You may give them full mod support, and you'll see the craziest things happen. Your game will rise in popularity, especially if you make it free to play. Free to play plus mods, and the game will skyrocket in popularity again. Assuming the modders can make some. 50 cal sniper rifle plus pistol would be cool. Don't know if it's worth it. 7.62 pistol that shreds armor up close, such as the FN57. The FN57. It does a lot of damage to the armor. Yeah. And this is some TLDR and so on. This is Wacky Jackie's suggestions to create a better PUBG experience. So that as well. And this is a personal note to PUBG Hawkins himself, PR guy. He doesn't need to be the one to bring this message. I feel really bad for him because some guys really don't angry about the whole PUBG fiasco and like voice their concerns, every opinion, and he literally is like the messenger between the two. And I don't think it's fun for him to do his job. So PUBG Hawkins, should you watch this, my deepest respects go out because you have a hard job and I respect it. So that was it. That was my PUBG FIXPUBG moment. I think it's 3.5 hours, which is quite a lot. So hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hopefully you got to this point. If you got to this point, hats off to you. Incredible respect that you made it this far. I probably babbled on some topics a little bit more than I should have, but I rather say a little bit too much than a little bit too. I really hope everybody got something out of it, and I really hope, even if PUBG decides, Whelsko, get out of my life, we don't want you here. Even if PUBG decides to do that, I hope at least some other game developer will take notes of this and create a game that has a better relationship with their customers and has a better community or whatever. Basically, I hope somebody got something useful out of it, even if PUBG decides to make it completely useless. Either way, I had a lot of fun, so it's not the end of the world for me. By this, I really thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye!